Hi there. So you want to get into the data analytics field, want to build fancy graphs and charts, work with data and solve problems, but you're going to be replaced with AI later down the line. So let's dive in. Whether you're a seasoned programmer or just starting out, buckle up because we're about to crack the code. Oh god, that's so cheesy. So when starting out, I see a lot of people wanting to become a data analyst but not knowing what data analysts actually are or what they do. So I encourage you to compare that with data scientists and data engineers, since those are the closest amongst each other within the field. So do a little bit of research on your own. Once you know what a data analyst is and you want to become one, you have chosen wisely. So the important thing you need to understand here is at least having the basic knowledge of statistics. Stuff like measures of central tendency, like mean, median, mode. But honestly, I don't even know who still uses mode. And measures of variance, like variance itself and standard deviation. This will help you solidify your stats components when using tools that I'm going to talk about. So statistics is very important since that is pretty much what you're going to be doing when you're going to be doing any visualizations, aggregations, analysis, and generating insights. So the essentials of when we come to the tools that you will need to succeed in the data analytics field are Python, SQL, and R. So yeah, these are pretty much the languages that you would start with and probably still use later in your future once you become a seasoned veteran. Do you get the joke? When you become an expert and there's a seasoned veteran, okay, never mind. So keep in mind Python and R are kind of like a vendetta brothers, because I personally haven't seen a place where both are used at the same time, but hey, this is my opinion. I'll tell you in which cases they are more relevant. For Python, it's good to get started with basics without any libraries, understanding the hello world of things, and then getting into more basic data types like strings, integers, booleans, and moving on to more Python related aspects like lists, dictionaries, and values. So you can take it up a step further and look at for loops, if statements, while loops, and functions. These are some of the things that you would use within the data analyst field if you're going to use Python for coding. So these would be enough for you to get started with in the meantime. And then you can then move over to usage of libraries like pandas, which you can use for data wrangling, cleaning, transformation, NumPy, which is computing, statistics, and math-related library, and Matplotlib, Seaborn, which you would use for visualization. There's stuff like scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and other machine learning related libraries, but I think you need to first solidify your data analyst skills, which is going to be much more easier when you transition if you want to become a data scientist. So for R, it's also a similar learning curve like Python with some syntactical changes. All the things I said here apply to R as well, but there are also libraries or packages, which is what they're usually referred to in R, like ggplot2, which is amongst the most popular visualization package that I also use, Dipler or Daplir, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's about data wrangling, cleaning, transformation, pretty much similar to pandas, and Tidyverse, which contains sub-packages that you get data sets from and do some data manipulation. Keep in mind that these are some of the common R packages that I follow, since I'm more of a Pythonista, but there are like plenty more R packages and resources that you can use. So then we have SQL or SQL. SQL is pretty much used wherever there's a database. With SQL, you can do some analysis and wrangling or even accidentally delete the entire production database. With SQL, start doing data cleaning and transformation within the system itself. Tools like SQL Server Management Studio or even pgadmin, which you can use for Postgres. This process is usually dependent on your workplace and what tools they use. But since you're going to be starting and learning about SQL, you can get started with SQL Server Management Studio. Once you're familiar with that, you can go to understanding how databases are formed, what relational databases are, what types of databases there exist, what are primary and foreign keys, and other database criterion techniques. Why did Power BI or Tableau enthusiasts bring a Python to the office? Because they heard it was time to unleash the data snake for some analytics fun. Okay, I'm just going to kill myself. So when visualizing comes into play, you have to fasten your seatbelts and get ready to... Okay, I'll stop. So this is where you showcase your storytelling and insights generation. The tools that I am experienced with are Tableau and Power BI. But there are other visualization tools like Looker Studio, Qilk,
Cloud, Qlik Sense, Qlik Community.
Qlik, yeah, there you go. Qlik, and even Excel. So the way to go here is to find a tool that you're comfortable with and get the overall feel for it. So if you haven't done such things before, like using visualization tools, I would recommend getting started with Tableau, as it's an easy to understand and straightforward tool. I would say slightly easier than Power BI, but hey, take this with a grain of salt. All these are things that you would need to understand to become a full-fledged data analyst. Keep in mind that the tools I mentioned are tools. It's about understanding how to use them, but the main point of becoming a data analyst is what to do, where to solve problems, where to generate insights, what's missing, or what ideas you want answered. So these are what makes a great data analyst. So the job hunt is also where it gets tricky. I'm going to tell you immediately that you need to be patient. Even after having all the skills in your arsenal, you need to build a portfolio. Yeah, boo, yeah, I know it takes time, yeah, but this is really important. This can range from SQL query for data analysis. You can use data from Kaggle, and you can also use that for data cleaning, transformation on Python or R, and even SQL itself. For those that don't know, Kaggle is a platform where you can participate in solving data problems and getting access to data in general. And then you can start to experiment with those data using Tableau and try to visualize using pie charts, line graphs, bar charts, histograms, world maps. There's different types of things that you can do. So with all of this said, you need to showcase this publicly in your portfolio. So for the codes that you used, for example, if you wrote a Python or an R or an SQL query, upload it to a GitHub repository. If you don't have one, you better create one right now. For the visualizations, post it on LinkedIn. But the best way to show all of these is to have a website of your own. This can showcase what you did. You can link your visualizations, have a snippet of them there. You can showcase your GitHub code and what you did as well on the project you worked on. So you don't have to develop a website yourself. Wix is some of the website platforms that you can use. This does not involve coding. It's pretty straightforward. But if you want to go all out and if you have prior experience with web-based applications, you can also build a website. You can showcase all of your work, your software work even, and along that you can showcase your data analyst works and portfolios. You may be asking, where do I learn all this? How do I get started? You can literally start with YouTube videos. There are plenty of great resources out there. I'll put some links in the description on where you can get started with some YouTube videos, which I have started with and have helped me get into the data analyst field. But if you want to take it a step further and get certified, I would recommend Google's and IBM's courses on Coursera. So that wraps up today's video. If you found this valuable, get ready for a lot more just like it. Don't miss out on future uploads by hitting that subscribe button. It's your ticket to stay ahead of the curve. And as always, be sure to keep on coding.